Boy, it's a good thing I bought my Xbox Series X last year because the prices are going through the roof. A console that came out in 2020 is now more expensive if you buy it today. And not like a little bit more expensive, a lot more expensive. For example, the base model Xbox Series X with the disk drive is now $600. Before, it was $500. So that's a price increase of $100 for the base model Xbox Series X. And let's talk about the Xbox Series S. Now, this used to be a good deal. An Xbox Series S was $299 here in America, and you could often find it on sale during the holidays for $250, which is pretty good. And in fact, it's great to play current generation games. $250. Well, that's done now because the base Xbox Series S, 512 gigabytes, $380. Unbelievable. That's only 512 gigs. You can only put like 2 or 3 games on there. That's ridiculous. Unbelievable. And then if you want the 1 terabyte Xbox Series S, well, that's like $430, and that is a complete waste. If you want the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte digital edition, which came out last year, that's the one I have. I got mine for a lot less than the price they have now. The price they have now is $550. You don't even get a disk drive with that. That's unbelievable. They should have just kept the prices where they are, considering the fact that supposedly their next console is coming out in like 2 years. Because this makes people like not want to support Microsoft and Xbox. It's like the console was outsold by the PS5 by so much. And then you do this now. It's just like a bad PR move. I mean, I guess they're losing so much money per console that they had to do it. Like they couldn't find any other way to like keep the prices where they are. I mean, they should have just cut their losses. Just keep the prices where they are. Stop making them, I guess, if people aren't buying them. And you know, the funniest part is the 2 terabyte special edition with the disk drive of the Xbox Series X, $730. That is more expensive than the PS5 Pro. Although I should say, you know, I should put an asterisk there because PlayStation 5s will probably be going up in price at some point. And they have raised the prices of the PS5s around the world, but not in America. Because, you know, if they do it in America, it's going to be all over the news, just like it was with the Xbox. And just like it was when Nintendo announced that their Switch 2 was going to be $450 and the Mario Kart World was going to be $80 per game, which, you know, well, it's not only Mario Kart World, but other first-party titles might be $80 in the future. And Microsoft announced that their games will also be $80, some of them, some of the first-party titles during the holiday season. And so with all this going on, this is a shift we're starting to see where large groups of people are getting priced out of video games almost entirely. It's like, I was thinking about buying a Nintendo Switch 2, but when they said $450, I'm like, $450 for a Switch 2? You know, Nintendo used to be the cheap console. That's the one with the outdated hardware, but, you know, it's affordable and the games are actually good. Well, no more. Nintendo is now just as expensive as Microsoft and Sony. So, you know, I'm not going to buy a Nintendo Switch 2, especially if they're going to put Mario Kart World at $80. That's ridiculous. I will stick with my Nintendo 2DS XL. I got Mario Kart 7 off a GameStop for a very low price, and I will play that. That's what I'll do. And same thing with, you know, Microsoft's games. I'm just going to play, you know, the old games I have that I bought off their digital store that I have downloaded to my Xbox Series X. I always wait for sales, and I have tons of games I can play. I'm not going to buy their new first-party titles for $70, $80. No way. I'm just going to wait for a sale. The only game they have out now that came out recently that I really want to play is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I started playing it when it was on Game Pass, but I canceled my Game Pass subscription because it's no longer worth the price. And I'm sure they're going to raise the price of Game Pass at some point. So I'm not going to cooperate with Microsoft and keep my subscription. No, I'll just wait till Indiana Jones is on sale and buy the game. Because Game Pass these days, they took away all the Yakuza games. So that was a big deal breaker for me, because it's like all the other games on there, I could just buy them for cheap and play them. I don't need to access to like the original Gears of War and the original Halo. And it's like, I could buy that for $5 or $10. And it's like, I don't need to have Game Pass for that. And their first party titles simply are not worth it. I mean, even if the games are okay, it's like, I'm not dying to play Doom the Dark Ages. I'm not dying to play Avowed. I'm not dying to play the Oblivion remaster. I mean, they're fine, I guess, but I'm not going out of my way to buy those games, no. So Xbox now has really expensive consoles that nobody was buying in the first place. I'm sure Sony's going to do a price hike soon. And the future of gaming is looking kind of bleak, because this is now a rich man's hobby, or a rich person's hobby. And, a lot of people are just going to look at older consoles, older games, and play those, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to play with my new Nintendo 2DS XL. And yes, although I have an Xbox Series X, most of the games I'm going to be playing on there are games that came out many years ago. I mean, the only current titles that I have that came out recently are like UFC 5. I have the Ultimate Edition because I got it on sale for $10. The retail price of that is like $100. I also have WWE 2K24. Again, got it on sale for like $20. So, I mean, the only way I'm getting current generation titles is when there's a big sale. I'm not buying any new games first day. Like, I want to play Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater when it comes out later this year. But I'm not going to buy it on day one, because you never know if the game is going to be buggy or broken on day one. And also, it's just a remaster of a game that came out a long time ago. I also want to play Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, the remake that's coming out supposedly next year. But I'm not buying it day one. I'll wait for a sale. I want to play the Splinter Cell remake whenever that comes out, but I'll wait for a sale. Everything's too expensive, and it's a shame, because it's like the games don't even justify that price tag. I mean, obviously development costs are through the roof, but that's the problem of the companies developing these games. Why are you making these games that cost so much? You can make a cheaper game that has great gameplay. I mean, it's like Expedition 33. Everyone talks about it. That's a game that came out recently. Everybody loves it. Some people saying it's one of the greatest games of all time. And it's a $50 game. The development costs weren't through the roof like Sony's Concord or, other ridiculous things that you hear about. Games that cost like hundreds of millions of dollars to make and then they flop. No, it's just make cheaper games with good gameplay. That's what everybody wants. Otherwise, I'm going to just wait for sales. And I bought a bunch of Star Wars games because they had like a Star Wars sale earlier this month on the Microsoft Store for I was getting games for like $3, $4. Knights of the Old Republic for less than $4. Both of them for less than $4. It's like, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to play those games because they're better games. I don't need, the 2025 best graphics in the world. No, I want to play a good game that's fun and entertaining. I mean, I could play Pong and be entertained by that. It's like, I don't need the fanciest graphics, and it's not impressive to me, because if it costs you, hundreds of millions of dollars, $1 billion to make, and, the game itself is not even that good, it's just pretty to look at. Who wants to play that? Who wants to play Assassin's Creed Shadows, which, some people say it's fine, but, it took an enormous amount of money to make that game. And supposedly it's just a repetitive thing that's not, as creative as the earlier Assassin's Creed titles. I actually bought the original Assassin's Creed off the Microsoft Store when it was on sale within the past few months, and I'm going to play that. It came out I don't even know how many years ago, but I'd rather play that than play AC Shadows. I'd rather play the Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection, which I also, again, bought for, I think, $6 for 3 games. See, that, that's what gaming is going to be for me. It's just look for sales, play those games because they're better games. Maybe they don't have the latest graphics, but they're better to play. And I'm going to do that. And I think that's what everyone else should do. You should take a stand. Don't buy a Nintendo Switch 2. Don't buy $80 games day one. Only wait for sales or buy them used. You gotta draw a line in the sand and be like, yo, this is out of control. And I know a lot of people won't listen and they'll just go buy the whatever. But, video game companies will listen when customers take a stand. Like when the Nintendo 3DS first came out, whatever it was priced at was too much. So they were selling like nothing. Then they dropped the price a lot. Then people started buying the console. And then it became a very successful console. And that's what you got to do. Don't buy $80 games. Don't buy $730 gaming consoles. I mean, at that point, you could just buy a PC. So take a stand. Don't waste your money. Look for sales. Look for discounts. Buy used things. That's what you should do. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm happy with that. I want to play good games. I don't want to play a game just because it looks pretty.